Patrick, how are you? I haven't talked to you in a very long time, and I know that I left you on the altar.
Wait, Aubrey?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. I cannot believe this is happening. I mean, I haven't talked to you in over like 10 years, 12. And, I mean, you literally broke my heart.
I know.
Like, I mean, I was literally mortified. I'm standing in front of all my family and friends by myself, staring at nobody. And
I know.
It was literally the most mortifying thing I've ever experienced in my life. Yeah, I love you.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you know, like no warning, nothing. I mean, if you were unsure of getting married to me for any reason, you should call me. We should have talked about it.
Carrie told me that you were cheating on me.
Okay, well that's not true. I don't know why she would say that. I mean, I don't. But even if you should have spoken to me, like regardless. I mean, my heart was literally broken. I mean, you have long. I'm still not rebounded. I gave you my heart on my sleeve, and you ripped it, and you teared it apart. And now my trust issue. I have trust issues now with anyone. For the last 12 years, I've been trying so hard to move on, and you literally destroyed me. Literally, with no call. This is the first time I'm hearing from you in 12 years. You understand?
Yeah.
I've not spoken to you in 12 years. You just literally vanished.
Okay, hold on.
Who does that?
More and more modern women.
Imagine the happiest day of your life turning into a nightmare in a single moment. A day filled with jubilation, an occasion of joyous celebration, a union of two hearts abruptly shrouded in a veil of heartache. This is the story of one man's wedding day, a day that was supposed to be the beginning of a blissful journey, but ended up being a day of immense despair. The groom, brimming with excitement, was eagerly awaiting the moment when he could finally call the love of his life his wife. The guests, dressed in their festive best, chatted and sipped champagne, their faces lit up with anticipation and the hall echoing with their laughter. But as the clock ticked, the smiles gradually faded, replaced by looks of confusion and concern. The bride was nowhere to be seen. As the minutes turned into hours, the joyous atmosphere had turned into a tense silence. The whispers started, hushed conversations filled with speculation and worry. Then, like a bolt from the blue, the rumor hit. The groom was alleged to have cheated on his bride-to-be. A rumor, fabricated by a so-called friend of the bride, had made its way into the crowd, marring the groom's character and turning the wedding into a public spectacle. The groom stood there, his heart pounding, his face a mask of shock and disbelief. He was innocent, yet he was being accused, judged, and condemned by the very people who had come to celebrate his happiness. The room, once filled with laughter and joy, was now filled with whispers of betrayal and glances of pity and scorn. The groom's world came crashing down around him. His bride, his love, his future, all snatched away from him in a single moment. The woman he was about to vow his life to had left him standing at the altar based on a rumor. The happiest day of his life had turned into a living nightmare. The groom stood there heartbroken and humiliated as whispers of betrayal filled the room. Fast forward 12 years, the woman who left her fiancé at the altar is now looking back with regret. A lifetime can seem to pass in the blink of an eye, and in those fleeting moments, one can't help but reflect on the choices made. 12 years ago, she walked away from a man who loved her, a man she was supposed to marry. The years that followed were a relentless quest to find the perfect match, a pursuit that ended in vain. She met men, many men, but none could match the warmth of her former fiancé's smile. None could replicate the comforting silence they once shared. Every date, every relationship, every moment spent with another man was a stark reminder of what she had lost. The echoes of her past, the memory of her fiancé, were constant companions, haunting her day and night, casting a somber shadow over her present. As the years rolled by, the ticking of the biological clock grew louder. The reflection in the mirror seemed unfamiliar, and the fear of growing old alone began to gnaw at her. The nights grew longer, the winters colder, and the world around her seemed to move on as she stood still, trapped in her solitude. The loneliness was not a sudden realization, but a slow, creeping sensation that wrapped around her, a chilling reminder of the life she could have had. The laughter, the shared dreams, the companionship, everything she once took for granted seemed like a distant dream now. In those quiet moments of solitude, she began to question her choices. What if the rumors were just that, rumors? What if she had been too hasty, too impulsive? The nagging doubts turned into a crushing realization. She had walked away from the best thing she ever had. The woman who once stood tall with a defiant spirit now stood alone, weighed down by regret. As she stared at the flickering flame of a single candle on her birthday cake, she realized that the man she left at the altar was the best thing she ever had. With a heavy heart, she picked up the phone and dialed the number she knew by heart. The number that once brought a smile to her face now filled her with regret. The number that was once a symbol of love, now a symbol of a past she wished she could change. She took a deep breath as the phone rang. She could hear her heartbeat echoing in her ears, louder and faster with each passing second. The memories of the past, the embarrassment of the wedding day, the heartbreak she had caused, all flooded back as she waited for him to pick up. "Hello?" His voice was calm, but she could sense the surprise. She took a deep breath and started to speak, her voice trembling with emotion. "I'm sorry," she said, her words barely a whisper. "I'm sorry for what I did, for the pain I caused. I let a rumor, a lie, ruin our lives." She went on to explain her struggle over the past 12 years. The loneliness, the regret, the realization that she had lost the man who truly loved her. She talked about her failed relationships, her inability to find someone who could fill the void he had left in her heart. "I've realized that you were the best thing that ever happened to me," she confessed. "I was blind to it then, but now I see it clearly. I was foolish, I was wrong. I let my insecurities and a baseless rumor ruin what could have been the best day of our lives." Her voice cracked as she pleaded for a second chance. "I still love you," she said, her voice filled with hope. "I know I don't deserve it, but I'm asking for a second chance, a chance to make things right, a chance to show you that I've changed." She took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. The words were out. The plea was made. All she could do now was wait. The phone line went silent and she waited for his response. The man who had been left at the altar, now faced with this unexpected call, took a deep breath. Confusion swirled within him, a whirlwind of emotions threatening to consume him. There was a part of him that still ached from the pain of being left alone in front of family and friends, with nothing but a tuxedo and a shattered dream. His mind was a canvas painted with memories of a time when he believed in their love, a time when he thought they were destined to be together. The betrayal still stung, the embarrassment still raw. Even after a dozen years, he hesitated, his heart pounding in his chest. The voice on the other end of the line was a ghost from his past, a specter that had haunted his dreams for years. He could still remember her face, the way she used to look at him with love in her eyes. But that was a lifetime ago, wasn't it? The man he was back then, the man who had believed in fairy tales and happy endings, was long gone. He remembered the rumors, the whispers that had turned his world upside down. He remembered the uncertainty in her eyes, the way she let her friends' words poison their love. He was innocent, yet he was the one left standing alone, his heart in pieces. He thought about her words, her plea for a second chance. He thought about the loneliness she must have felt, the regret that must have gnawed at her soul. But he also thought about the life he had built for himself, the peace he had found in the solitude. He had moved on, learned to live without her. He had picked up the pieces of his broken heart and stitched them back together. He took another deep breath, the decision clear in his mind. It was time for her to face the music. It was time for her to understand that actions have consequences, that you can't just walk away and expect things to remain the same. He had moved on, and she had to accept the consequences of her actions. This story is not just about a broken wedding, but about the repercussions of hasty decisions. A woman left her fiancé at the altar due to a rumor, a mere whisper that held no truth. 12 long years passed before she realized her mistake, only to find that time does not wait, nor does it heal all wounds. Regret is a powerful emotion, and for our bride, it was a bitter pill to swallow. She spent over a decade searching for someone to fill the void, only to realize that the best option had always been right in front of her. But by then, it was too late. The man she left standing alone on what should have been the happiest day of their lives had moved on. The lesson here is a timeless one. Our actions have consequences, and once a moment is gone, it can never be reclaimed. Rumors are just that, unverified information passed along the grapevine. Acting on such can lead to irreversible damage, as our bride learned the hard way. The importance of communication in relationships cannot be overstated. Had she confronted her fiancé about the accusations, they might have been able to clear the misunderstanding. Instead, she let doubt and hearsay dictate her actions, a decision that cost her dearly. Sometimes the best thing you ever had is the one you let go. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, isn't it? We've just heard a tale that's more than a little bittersweet. Why not share your thoughts on the story in the comments below? Let's get a conversation going. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing to our channel. It helps us bring more such stories to you. And lastly, if this story resonated with you, do share it. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe with bell notifications, and share this story. Remember, every decision has its consequences. Choose wisely.